Hello and welcome to How Mundane, the least interesting place on the internet. Today we've got something special. 30-year-old Beavis and Butthead cards. An entire booster box. Let's see what we get. This is, of course, the first, as opposed to misspelled inaugural edition. 36 packs. No idea how many cards are in a pack. Let's just dive in and find out. Young, gifted, and crude. Thinking doesn't suck. Tanya, the gifted teacher. Life sucks. Mall men. Washing the dog. Beavis and Butthead try yogurt. Drive in 11. Closing time. And Beavis the Motorhead. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cards in a pack. So we're going to have 360 Beavis and Butthead cards when all said and done. So if you are of a certain age, I'm sure you remember Beavis and Butthead, the classic MTV show created by Mike Judge out of Austin, Texas. Became an absolute phenomenon, eventually also spawning the Beavis and Butthead Do America movie. A lotto-winning one. Mike Judge, of course, has also been responsible for shows like King of the Hill and movies like Idiocracy. He's got a new show coming in 2025. Something about a mushroom that cures cancer or something. It looks interesting. There's also supposedly in the works a King of the Hill reboot, which is sort of a sequel, supposed to pick up with an adult Bobby Hill. And of course, there were the newer episodes of Beavis and Butthead that were on the last few years. Didn't quite recapture the magic of the original, but it was still good. Frog baseball. The problem with older cards is a lot of times coming out of the packs, they do tend to stick together a bit, but at least it looks like these aren't sticking together to the point that they're causing any damage. Science. Here's the Beavis and Butthead birthday card. You know, that is one of the ones from the set that people get excited about. The Beavis and Butthead farm dudes. Daria Morgendorfer, that of course spawned the show Daria. But yeah, if you were not of the right age when Beavis and Butthead hit, I don't know if you'll have the same fond memories of it that those of us who kind of were in that window do. But Beavis and Butthead, in fact, was one of the biggest things on MTV that wasn't, at that point, music. Because Tom Anderson, who kind of resembles both vocally and in mannerisms Hank Hill from King of the Hill. Back at that point, MTV was still actually playing music, and it was not just a unending reality show. Chicks in glasses are cool. Unending reality show marathon or marathon of, clips from YouTube of people doing stupid stuff. It was actually whole lot of music videos, and there was very little else. But Beavis and Butthead was one of those shows, along with the original Real World, a few other things that kind of kicked off MTV's original programming that wasn't just music-based. And here we are so many years later, and that has taken over the whole network, and now I think you are hard-pressed to find a music video on MTV, at least based on any time that I have seen it flipping through channels. Sometimes art doesn't suck. Haiku, couch fishing, comedians, and true crime. They're actually pretty high quality cards. I mean, they are Fleer Ultra, so you would expect them to be the nicer, glossy cards, but this print quality seems to be pretty good. You know, sometimes stuff that's this old, you kind of never know what you may get opening up a particular package. Difficulty urinating. Another sometimes art doesn't suck. Eating contest. Welcome to the jungle. Of course, if you've watched Beavis and Butthead, you know that them watching particularly rock and metal music videos was a major part of the show, so a card like Welcome to the Jungle would be a major throwback to the kind of things they actually did for a good chunk of every episode. Jail Guy. Now, I know one of the ones we're looking for in here that is a popular card from the set is Beavis's butt. It is literally a card of Beavis's naked butt that I have seen sell at a PSA 10 for at least a couple $100. Can't say that I'm shocked that Beavis's butt would be a popular one, but be interested to see if we pull that or if we pull, you know, some other callbacks to classic Beavis and Butthead bits like Cornholio. We are almost a quarter of the way through this. I'd say there are a lot of cards in this box. If you compare this to what you're getting in some of the modern products, you know, you get a lot back in the 90s. The Crush. Mistress Cora Anthrax. Tornado. Magazines and books. Concept of a store that hardly exists anymore, other than the occasional Barnes & Noble. I don't know if you're paying attention, but you can see that the pack art varies too. Frogs Get Me Like Hot. The sketch of Beavis and Butthead. Like History Dude. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that the cards vary in their orientation, seemingly at random. Freak Chicks Rule. Good Credit. Cashier. Todd. You've got the Beavis and Butthead shirtless with the sunglasses and dressed up in the Beavis and Butthead getting married attire. Best wishes. Most wanted. It's a pretty classic Beavis look. Stew. There we go. Beavis's butt. Buff stuff. And dudes. Raw in condiments. So yeah, I think these probably were the kind of things you would have likely found at, what, like a Spencer's Gifts in the mall or something back in the 90s. I guess I wasn't really checking too much in card shops to see if they carried this kind of thing 30 years ago, or if I did, I do not remember. Trailer ladies. Buff stuff again. But definitely some of those, goofy novelty shops that were in the mall always seem to have this kind of stuff, like your Spencer's Gifts and whatnot. Senior Cinnamons, the old Beavis and Butthead. Punks. It's really kind of fascinating how, mall culture was like a thing for just a blip in history. And, these days, even though malls are still around, it seems like teenagers don't seem to want to hang out in them. They just kind of, I don't know, I'm always seeing teenagers like wander from fast food place to Target or something rather than get dropped off at the mall and wander around in the mall. Leprechauns. That's a good one. Foreign exchange. Certainly has left a lot of old mall. Hey, there we go. Bill Clinton, the Beavis and Butthead card of President Bill Clinton, or President Clint. Here is The End Is Near. Both Beavis and Butthead mooning. Way down Mexico way. Hey, here's the Christmas card. Bedpans and broomsticks. It has been interesting to watch over the years how they've tried to redevelop some of those properties and see what ends up working and what ends up not working. Because seems to be kind of a mixed bag. This one does not want to open. In fact, the NTX card show, which is one of the ones we have sold at and continue to sell at the TCG show, is actually in an old mall. And the way they set it up is utilizing a couple of the old stores as sort of temporary show space. It actually works surprisingly well, because there are still some stores in there that people can otherwise, there's another birthday card, people can otherwise go visit. There is a little kind of food court you can go check out if you need a snack while you're hanging out at the show, but with these kind of smaller drive-in or beware the butt, you can take your time, go through each of the rooms. The December show had 2 rooms for trading cards, and it sounds like the January show will have 3, although this may come out after the January show has already happened. But I'm sure good for the folks putting it together as they can continue to expand as needed. The original room based on the columns by the front of it, my guess is may have at some point in its past been a structural clothing store. If anyone remembers those from the brief period they existed in the late 90s. Because they all had that same column set up out front. And then I think the one we were in, the second room, may have at one point been like an American Eagle based on kind of the decor. Is that two stuck? That is two stuck together. Another farm dudes. Definitely getting into some repeat territory. The French fries is new. Peace and love suck. Beavis with a shark tattoo. Tom Anderson again. No Laughing Part 1. Kidnapped Part 2. The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Ozzy. The Butthead card. Politically correct. NATO again. Halfway point. This is going to be a long video, y'all. Lotto. Yeah, we're definitely getting a lot of repeats at this point. Oh, here's another new one. The 70s sucked. New. Customers suck. Home Sweet Cave. Hallucinations. Would probably go faster if the cards didn't stick together, but such is the way of old cards. The frogs get me hot again. Operation Desert Suck. Couch fishing. Comedians. True crime. Freak chicks. See if we can pull another Beavis's butt. Sometimes art doesn't suck. Eating contest again. Another welcome to the jungle. Another pest wishes. Air guitar. Another classic part of the whole Beavis and Butthead experience. I'm like Beavis. Petitioning, jail guy, and dudes. Trial, that's a new one. Russians, another new one. Clean House, I don't think we've seen that one yet either. First pack, callback. And, oh, and there's yogurt. You know, yogurt was another kind of thing that had like this run in the 90s and then this interesting rerun kind of, like 8 years ago or something now. So if you're around in the 90s, you remember like TCBY and I Can't Believe It's Not Yogurt. Kind of showed up everywhere, seemingly overnight, and everyone was talking about frozen yogurt. Everyone had to go try frozen yogurt, and it was the thing. And then by a few years later, that fad just kind of fizzled. And you would occasionally find a TCBY still around or something, but that was about it. And then all of a sudden, in, I don't know, the early 2010s maybe, this whole new wave of self-service yogurt places like Monster Yogurt and some of these other ones, Pinkberry, I guess, was one of them, all showed up, and again, became this huge thing seemingly overnight where they were everywhere, and then have been kind of slowly fading, and there's not nearly as many now. Well, that's cool, the Japanese tattoos. To where we're back down to, like, you can find the occasional cite Monster Yogurt because there's one that I see every now and again, but, you know, handfuls of these kind of places around, and that's it. So I don't totally understand why the cyclical frozen yogurt fad seems to operate like that, but it will be interesting to see if, you know, there's another Beavis's butt. And another Bill Clinton. If in another, I don't know, 15 years, we get some sort of new yogurt trend, that it becomes some sort of almost predictable yogurt cycle. All right, we are getting close to the 3/4 of the way mark. 20 minutes in, this is going to be one of our longer videos. A lot of me rambling about the 90s. Yeah, the other thing I always think of when I think of being a teenager in the 90s is particularly the idea of if you had a car getting a CD changer and how everybody had one of those at the time. The CD changers with the little cassette or magazine that you would load. You know, most of them were 6 or occasionally 10. I knew somebody with 12. So if you had one of these, you were kind of bound to what's loaded in your CD changer, and it was not as easy to change out as the folks who had the single ones in the dash. And it led to this kind of interesting phenomenon where you would have just a handful of albums that you would listen to over and over and over again because it's, oh, I forgot to grab the CD changer from my trunk, because so often they were in your trunk. And so I didn't change it out, and I'm just listening to the same 6 albums, 8 albums, 10 albums again. If you had the CD player up in the front, most people had either one of those things on the inside of the visor you could flip down and grab a CD out of, or one of those like CD binders. There's the Elvis Beavis. Or you had both if you had a lot of CDs. And of course that was also the time period where everyone started to burn CDs, so people did tend to have a lot of copies of things or whatever floating around. Pumpkins? Last Quarter. So it's a very different experience if you were up there being able to change out kind of CDs at will. Although still, you wouldn't typically have your entire CD collection in your car, so maybe you have, a dozen, 2 dozen CDs that you listen to a whole bunch before you're like, oh yeah, I need to take this inside and swap out some CDs. Or until your friend burned you a new mix CD with some new songs. Of course, there was a while there too where it was hard to burn CDs that would reliably play in the car, and so some people had better luck based on either the blank CDs they got or the CD burner they had or their car stereo than others. Door to drop. Gropies. He's getting a few still new ones. Mary had a ... Todd's Gang. Washing the Dog. Gorilla Dude. Crapid. There's another birthday one. And another Farm Guys. Kidnapped. This Rocks, which is probably the most classic looking Beavis and Butthead still. Home Improvement. Peace and Love Suck again. Car Wash. Principal McVicker. Sick. And the big question, can we pull a third Beavis's butt? And or a third Bill Clinton? Well, here's the one of Beavis and Butthead with Bill Clinton. Thanksgiving. Stewart's dad. Chemicals Are Cool. That's a new one. Be All You Can Be. Haiku again. Couch Fishing again. Sometimes art doesn't suck again. Oh, here's the Christmas one again. Home Sweet Cave, Hallucinations, Beavis. Trial again. Kidnapped again. Beavis pumps himself. Daria again. Rambuff. Fries. Operation Desert Suck again. Pharaohs, I think that's one we haven't seen yet. Chicks in Glasses again. Politically Correct. And Tornado. 2 packs left. Wrapping up half an hour of opening Beavis and Butthead cards and talking about the 90s. Comedians again, True Crime, Freak Chicks, Good Credit, last pack. Eating Contest, Welcome to the Jungle, Pest Wishes, Most Wanted. You know, it occurs to me we have not seen a Cornholio card. So Petitioning, Jail Guy, Andrews, and the Incondiments again. All right, this has gone on long enough. Thanks for being mundane with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.